People, welcome back to YaadAndAbroadTV. Please remember to hit the subscribe button, turn on post notification, like, comment, share, and subscribe. As I said, if you're not familiar with this channel, we talk about issues in Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the whole world, people. So yo viewers and subscribers, welcome back to my channel, people. Thank you guys for tuning in. So earlier I uploaded a video about Andrea Bharatt and the autopsy that was done on her. So the first autopsy came up inconclusive. They couldn't figure out what happened or how she died. And this gentleman that goes by the name Inshan Ishmael, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name properly, people. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not pronouncing Mr. Ishmael name correctly. But he volunteered with a couple of his friends to pay for a private autopsy, people. And I'm going to play you the video of him explaining what actually happened to Andrea Bharatt, people. But it said the second autopsy showed Andrea Bharatt hit with blunt object to head. The autopsy was conducted by Professor Hubert Daisley today. Andrea Bharatt was struck on the forehead with something blunt, and when she was hit, she fell back and her skull fractured and caused hemorrhaging. It has to be verified whether Andrea Bharatt was raped or not. The report suggested that within a week, this will be determined after samples were taken. Professor Daisley noted that there was an area of her arm where they found punctures of needle marks. Professor Daisley has to confirm whether it was done during the first autopsy or during her untimely ordeal. There was an area of her stomach that appeared discolored, which showed that Bharatt was not fed for a long time or she was not eating. So that's what the second autopsy is saying, people. And truly, I wanna really give a big shout out to Mr. Ishmael for actually going ahead and using his own money and, doing a second autopsy, people. Because remember, this is a day, within a day, they find out actually what took place or what happened. A second autopsy easily determine what happened, and it wasn't inconclusive like the first one. So big shout out to this gentleman, people. And check out the video of him talking about it and explaining what actually happened, people. All right, check it out and leave a comments and let me know, people, what y'all think of this. All right, much love and appreciation. Bless up in yourself.
All right, assalamu alaikum and good good afternoon, in fact. All right, what I want you to do is that I know thousands and thousands of people have been waiting for me to do this live so that we could tell you exactly what the findings are, and this is what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to tell you what the findings are. So let us just let the numbers build up a little bit. And what happens is that, so I don't want to be too long on this. I want to be as brief as possible because after seeing a few things there, I just want to get us off my mind, and that's it. So all right, here we go. All right, so as we promised yesterday, I was not satisfied with the inconclusive report that we got from the pathologist yesterday in relation to something like this. In fact, I stated yesterday that for me, someone who has no training in this field, it is improbable that after just a few days that the report could be inconclusive. And what happened is that I just want to show you where I am right now. I am at Budo's funeral home here in Kunupia. And I just spoke to the professor. And of course the professor contacted the father as well. And I wanted the father to be notified and the family to be notified first before I made this information public. And here we go. I could tell you that Professor Daisley's report and his findings are not inconclusive. And they found the reason for her death. Andrea was struck on the forehead with something blunt. And what that caused, she fell back and her skull fractured. And there was hemorrhaging inside. In fact, the whole area inside the skull, you could see where it was pinkish red, which meant that that entire area there was hemorrhaging. So basically she died from internal hemorrhaging. When she got hit to the head, she fell backwards, and what happened is that her skull fractured and she died. Also, what is interesting, and of course Professor Daisley has to verify this, but there was an area on her arm where they found punctures, needle marks, and he has to verify if that was done by the previous pathologist still, or if that was an area where Andrea was she was injected. Because on the video itself, in fact on the picture itself that I saw, there was 2 puncture wounds, and that puncture wound is very visible. So it has to be verified if that occurred before, or the pathologist that did the report before made that puncture mark. What is interesting is that if you're doing an autopsy, the entire cavity of the body, the brain, everything is open. So therefore you normally would not have to go through the arm to do a swab or a blood test. So therefore, personally, and like I said, I have no training in this field, I doubt that that was made by the pathologist. The fact of whether she was raped or not, that is to be verified. That is to be verified because samples were taken, and what happened is that of course it would be verified in about a week's time if she was indeed raped. But the facts are clear that this is not inconclusive. And what have me really pissed here now is that that pathologist that did that report in such a short space of time, the question is, how many reports that he, she, it, or whatever did before that were inconclusive and did not give the factual information in terms of what was the cause of death? Because if we could pay, and I thank the 2 persons that came forward with me to pay for this, because now we know exactly why it happened. A man could come here outside of the forensic center and do an autopsy, and in a few hours time get these findings, especially for something as big as this, especially for something like this that has made the news, that is causing so much protest all over the country. So for those of you who are just joining us, let me repeat what the autopsy report stated. Andrea was hit to the forehead, blunt, something hit her hard. I'm talking about massive blow to the head. Fell back, and whatever she fell back on, her skull was fractured, and it caused internal bleeding and hemorrhaging. Also, what happened is that there was an area where the stomach, they say that, you know, there was, it was a particular color. So therefore, it showed that either she was not being fed or she was not eating. One out of the two. So there we have the results. And all I could tell you is that I am pissed. I am pissed. How could we have an autopsy result, especially on something like this, that is so important, be so wrong before? So now we have some clarity. Trinidad and Tobago, if this has not awoken you, I don't know what will. Something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong, and something stinks. I was privy to, you know, certain things, and I could tell you my body is still trembling right now, honestly. I feel like a nervous wreck right now. And one could only imagine, this is not my child. I am not even related to them. And I feel as if I am going through trauma myself. On behalf of the family, on behalf of myself and my family, I just want to tell Mr. Bharatt and the family that Trinidad and Tobago we stand with you. The entire country will stand by your side. And these results that we got from the autopsy, which show that it is not inconclusive, it showed that somebody hit your daughter on the head, it caused her head to fracture, it caused internal hemorrhaging, that we are not going to hide those results. We are now making those results public. And to all the people that call me all over the US and all over the world to congratulate us on what we are doing in Trinidad, we have just begun. God bless you. Parents, keep your children safe. Where do we go from here? Let us form a WhatsApp group. For those of you who want to be part of that, just WhatsApp me. And within the confines of the law, let us save our children. My number, 684-4762. That's 684-4762. Let us come together. As I said before, many people plan to meet at the Red House there on Friday. That is part of I was told they're meeting from 12. As a Muslim, I have to go to mosque, but I'll talk to a few people if we could do the Jummah prayer right there by the Red House there on that side. I'll find out. And then secondly, I know that I had asked for something to be done on 102 FM this morning. I had asked for people to line the streets where Andrea's funeral is heading to, from her home to wherever I was told that it's not going to the Caroni cremation site. I'll find out exactly where it's going. But right now I'm waiting for the report, and I will make arrangements to have it delivered to the home. All right, so folks, take care. In ending, I would just like to repeat the findings of Andrea's autopsy for those of you who just came in. Number one, Andrea was hit with a solid object to her forehead, right, causing her to fall backwards. This part of the skull here, the back, ended up hitting something and causing the skull to fracture, and internal hemorrhaging began, and that is how she died. All right, so God bless her. Take care, and we'll be in touch. Like I said before, for those of you who want to contact me, 684-4762. That's 684-4762. Take care. Salams and all the best.